Hi there guys, welcome back to Beyond the Cowl. You've got Sammy here, and today for Unit 5 we're still working on graphs. We're doing this beautiful rose in a tapestry style stitch. So we're going to need 3 different colours of your choosing, your hook and some scissors and some bobbins. Now try not to be too jealous of my beautiful bobbin. Here is my bobbin of the colour I'm using for my rose. So a simple toilet roll holder. I cut a little slit so I can hold my tail in the end and then just roll my yarn around. Makes it much easier as you progress with this stitch and stops the need for weaving in a million ends. Another thing that you can use, this is actually a pram clip that I picked up just because they were on clearance for $2 for a pack of 4. So I've just wound my yarn around, or you can roll a little ball and actually put it inside the clip. I like that method if I'm working on something big because I can put the clips onto my blanket as it grows, or of course a simple clothes peg. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about before we actually get hooking. The first one is you will need a copy of the graph. If you don't have access to a printer and you have some graph paper, pull it up and just quickly colour one in. They're really simple to follow. My printer is on the fritz at the moment and has cut off part of this, but they have the numbers down the bottom and along the side where my printer's cut it off. You can see it's cut off some of the colour as well. I've had to draw it in. We're gonna, because we're working tapestry, we're working our rows backwards and forwards. So I like to mark whether I'm working on the right side, the side that is we're going to be looking at the end, or the wrong side. Row 1 is the right side, row 2 the wrong side, and so on. I also like to either mark off or have another piece of paper or a ruler so that I can keep track of what row I'm up to. So as I say, I was up to row 4, I've done row 4, and I know I'm on row 5, so I don't miss my placement. Now the thing with tapestry, it's a single crochet square. Each little block on our graph is 1 stitch. So we start out, this particular graph is 25. So we start out with a chain of 25 and then we add 1 chain more. Sorry, just lost my place of what I was saying. Odd numbers rows are read from right to left. Single crochet in each stitch is 1 block. Even numbered rows are from left to right, still single crochet. We're just going back the other way. So arrows can help, or right side and wrong side. Odd numbers rows, odd numbered rows are always right to left, and evens are left to right. I'll show you how to change colours seamlessly and how to carry your yarn with the bobbin when you need to use it again later in the same row, or to just drop it if you're not going to need it again until you're back to that point on the next row. So that's easy. When you're working on the right side, the background yarn is held behind the work before crocheting over it. When you're working on the wrong side, the background colour, which you're always carrying in tapestry work, is held to the front so that it's sitting at the back. So it'll look quite obvious when you're working on a wrong side row. With a 6-inch square, it's easy to carry yarn. Bobbins can make it even easier if you are carrying for more than 6 stitches, which we won't be doing much of in this square. At each colour change, gently pull the background yarn taut before continuing, and just keep an eye on your tension. If you pull too tightly, the stitches will move out of alignment and look a little bit wonky. Experiment with working into just the front loop or just the back loop of certain stitches to get different results. This could be especially useful around colour changes to help smooth out the picture. Alright, let's get started. So I'm just going to take a minute and do a chain of 26, so 25 plus 1 for this square, and clip my chart up where I like it, and I can keep track of which row I'm up to. I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Okay, I am back with a hook in my hand, my favourite way to be. Although I haven't got a glass of wine next to me. Close. So I've done my chain of 25. Oh, having some glare issues. Winter's coming, I'm getting whiter. Paler, sorry. Now I'm following along with my graph, reading from the right to the left. Excuse me. And we have a colour change on the first row. So I've counted my blocks on my graph, and I know I need 17 stitches in my background colour, which is grey, and then I need to do 4 in green. So I've done 16. On my 17th, I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop, and rather than use my grey to finish, I'm going to grab my green bobbin, get some yarn. Now I'm just going to make a loop with that yarn, put that loop on my hook, and pull it through to finish my 17th stitch. Now that might seem a little crazy and like it's not going to hold. I assure you it will. I'm going to use the green to do the first of my green squares on my graph, and then I'm just going to gently tug my ends. I made a mistake, sorry guys. I'm not going to do the first bit on my graph. I'm going to hold that grey yarn at a nice even tension for the stitch, and then I'm going to crochet over it with my first green square on the graph. So you can just pull the end of your yarn to keep that even until you work it in later. Now I've got 4 stitches in green for the stem of my rose, so I'm going to work 3 of them completely, keeping my background colour behind my work and working over it with each stitch. So I've got 3. It's time to change back to grey, which is my background colour, so I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop of green. I'm going to let go of my green. It's sitting on the bobbin. We're not going to cut it off because the next time we need it is the stitch above where we are now. So just dropping it there means I can pick it up easily without having to cut it off, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm pulling up the grey that I've been working over and pulling that through as my background colour, giving the green a gentle tug. Now we're not going to work over that, we're going to leave that end there, and I'm going to work the last stitches in the row in my background colour. 2 and 3. Oops. Okay, I'm going to chain 1 to turn. Now that's not counting as a stitch. So first 3 stitches are in our background colour, so complete 2 of them completely in the background colour, and the third one is where we're going to drop our yarn, but we don't want it sitting on that side because that is the right side. Row 2, we are looking at the wrong side, so I'm going to pull it to the back. I'm going to grab my green to complete the stitch because that's the colour I'm changing to for the next block, and just pull that grey in tightly. Now I'm going to keep that grey on this side of my work. So the side I'm looking at, because it's the wrong side, and I'm going to work my 8 stitches of green. I know we said we recommend not carrying for more than 6, but I'm just going to carry it for these 8. So I'm keeping it at the back. Now it's not too bad because this green is nice and bright. It's not too bad with this colour scheme. But if you're working with a white or a lighter colour and a darker colour, if you don't keep that yarn at the back, it's going to shine through your work very obviously where you're carrying yarn. So important to keep that always on the wrong side as we work over it. So there's 5. 6 and 7. Now I've got one more stitch and I change back to the grey. So insert, pull up a green, pulling that over to the back of our work and using the grey to complete the stitch, because we'll be finishing the row with our background colour. Now, this is where we need to decide if we're going to carry or leave it. So we look at the graph. The next time we need green is 3 stitches over. So I'm going to carry that green yarn for 3 stitches, holding it towards the side I'm looking at because I'm working on the wrong side of my work. And then I'm going to stop working over it and leave it loose so that I can pick it up where I need it on the next row. So a single crochet for each square, colours coordinating, deciding whether we're going to drop yarn or carry yarn is dependent on how far away we're going to need it next. So as I said, this row I'll carry it for 3 stitches. So I'm holding it on this side of my work. I'm going to work 3 stitches over it. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to stop working over it and leave it loose there. And you can see I'm getting a little crossed over here. So this is where bobbins come in handy. I can just move it over the other side out of my way and it's still nice and loose there. I can move it back when I need it. I'll finish out this row with single crochet stitches, 1 for each block on our grid. I'll finish this row. I'll meet you back here when I'm bringing that green in, because remember we've left it in a random spot. I will show you though, carrying it, keeping it on that side, you can't see any hint of the colour that's being carried. And just watch your tension when you're pulling loose ends or carrying. You don't want your work to pucker by pulling it too tightly. All right, finish out that row. I'll meet you back here so that we can go over row 3, just nailing the basics for our tapestry stitch. I'll see you all soon. All right, guys, we're back. We're on row 3. Still not looking like much of a picture, but I can guarantee you a square this size, it does start looking like a picture fairly quickly. So I just wanted to show you how to bring up that yarn that we'd, left in the middle of nowhere. Same way as we have for the others. I've done 9 single crochet as per the graph. So the 10th is our last one in background colour. So I'm going to pull up a loop in background colour and then change over to my green to finish the loop. I'm going to carry my background colour for the next 5 stitches until I need it again. I'm just going to work a couple of stitches so I can show you how carrying that yarn to the point we needed it next looks on the other side. So there is one little stitch out of place, and that's just because I've pulled my yarn the wrong way. But there's no big lines of carry that are going to get caught. So both sides of a blanket and using a tapestry stitch are all single crochet, no big long lines of yarn that are going to get caught, both completely usable and both a pretty picture. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning the tapestry method. I love this. It is so versatile. It is fantastic if you want a nice thick warm blanket, because single crochet is such a dense stitch, and there is just so much versatility with regard to pattern styles and intricate details that you can add when you're doing this kind of graph work. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a fantastic day, and until next time, happy hooking.